We like to think that our generation is the one experimenting and exploring with all the sexual adventures, but Greek mythology is a literal testimony that all this kinky fuckery isn't a modern invention. For the Greeks, there doesn't seem to be any difference between seduction and rape, and asking for consent wasn't really their thing as well. At least that's what the legend says. And when the king of gods was infamous for arguably having millions of illicit affairs, you'd expect to have practically abundant dark sexual stories from the legend, and that's what we'll be looking into today. So let's unravel the 10 darkest of these tales. Number 10. THEODOTIS. This story of extreme possessiveness isn't known in detail yet, but ancient Greeks were no exception to the dark arts. Many cursed tables are mentioned in the legends, and one of them had an erotic binding curse on a woman based on her will to have intercourse with the person of her choice. It depicted that Ammonion, the son of Hermitaris, had bound the daughter of Zeus, THEODOTIS, to the snake's tail, the crocodile's mouth, the ram's horns, the asp's poison, the cat's whiskers, and the god's appendage, so that she'd never be able to have sex with another man, or be shagged, buggered, or give a blowjob, nor do anything that brings her pleasure with another man. It was so only he could penetrate her, drag her into slavery, or drive her crazy, and that she may rub her thigh on his thigh, her genitals to his genitals, and have sex with only him. Number 9. Minotaur. The story of the birth of Minotaur begins with King Minos. Minos had 2 brothers, and he boasted to them about the support he had from the gods, and to prove that fact, while worshipping and sacrificing to Poseidon, he prayed to the god for a bull from the depth of the oceans, and swore to heavens that he would sacrifice the bull to Poseidon. The Lord answered his prayers, but Minos, after establishing himself as almighty, tricked the god by keeping the majestic bull to himself and sacrificing another bull. Angered, Poseidon cursed that the wife of Minos, Queen Pasiphae, would lust the majestic bull. Consumed by the lust, Pasiphae, with her union with the majestic bull, birthed Minotaur, a monster with the body of a man and head and tail of a bull. Number 8. ALCMENE. She was the wife of Amphitryon, the king of Tiryns. Zeus took a liking towards her and had to have her. Knowing she wouldn't agree to sleep with him while her husband was away on a military expedition, the Greek god took the form of her husband Amphitryon. He spent 3 nights with the beautiful ALCMENE, who was unaware that he wasn't her husband. From this union, she birthed the famous Heracles, who is half god and half mortal. Number 7. DANAE. The daughter of King Acrisius of Argos, DANAE, was subject to a prophecy that her son would kill Acrisius. To prevent this from happening, he imprisoned DANAE and had forbidden men from meeting her. Unfortunately, she attracted the interest of Zeus, and though she was locked in a dungeon with no possible entrance, nothing could stop the majestic bolt of Zeus. He conformed into a rain of gold and infiltrated DANAE's cell from the roof, and in the end, they created Perseus, who eventually went on to kill Acrisius. Number 6. MEDUSA. Legends say that Medusa was once a very beautiful and exquisite priestess of Athena, but she broke her vow of celibacy, leading to Athena punishing her. Now, the reason behind it wasn't her lust. Rather, it was the ocean god Poseidon's lust who raped her when she refused to marry him. Athena, unknowing this, still turned Medusa into a hideous, monstrous hag, making her hair into writhing snakes and her skin turned a greenish hue. She was so ugly that anyone who locked eyes with her was turned into stone and was later on killed by Perseus. Number 5. Europa. She was the daughter of the king of Phoenicia, Agenor. Once Europa, with her friends, went to the field to gather flowers, where she caught the eye of Zeus, and his desires for her hazed his mind. He transformed himself into a beautiful white bull, so gentle, and eventually Europa started petting him and climbed onto his back. Zeus took the opportunity and, abducting her, raced her to the sea towards the island of Crete, where she would become the queen of Crete and bear the children of Zeus. Number 4. Ganymede. He was considered the most beautiful of all men, and at a young age became an object of desire for none other than Zeus. It is believed that Zeus sent an eagle, or transformed himself into an eagle, and kidnapped Ganymede, carrying him to his throne at Olympus. He granted him a life of immortals as well as eternal youth if he served as the god's cupbearer and lover. The age age when Ganymede became the lover of Zeus isn't really known, and according to many sources, he was an adolescent, so this tale was considered as a case of pedophilia and homosexuality. Number 3. IXION. This guy, after marriage, had to pay his father-in-law the bride price, which he refused to do, and instead tossed his father-in-law into burning coals, and was thus shunned by humanity. Zeus felt sorry for him and brought him to Olympus, where IXION tried to woo Hera, the wife of Zeus, to examine if IXION would go as far as to seduce the queen of gods. Zeus made a cloud that looked like Hera and sent it his way. IXION obviously had sex with the cloud and impregnated it with Centaurus, who then united with several horses, and their offspring were centaurs, half human, half horse. And FYI, a constellation named after a centaur is Sagittarius, the zodiac sign that we all know. It is basically named after the grandson of a murderer who had sex with a cloud. How twisted is that? Number 2. Mira. The most famous version of this myth is that Centraeus, Mira's mother, kept on boasting about her beauty, claiming that she was more alluring than goddess Aphrodite, which led her to curse Mira to lust after her father. She tried to control her desires for her father, but gave in eventually, and seduced him in the dark while her mother was away. When the truth was discovered, she ran away and prayed to the gods for help. Zeus, pitying her, converted her into a tree who gave birth to the child of her with her father in the tree form itself, known as Adonis. And number 1. Cassandra. She grew up to be the most beautiful daughter of King Priam of Troy and his wife Hecuba. The son of Zeus, Apollo, was head over heels for Cassandra. To swoon her, he offered her a gift to envision the future that she willingly accepted, and in return had to comply to Apollo's sexual desires, which she didn't. Apollo, as an act of vengeance, instead of taking his boon back, cursed that her prophecies wouldn't be acknowledged. So the Trojan War took place because people did not believe the prophecy of Cassandra. Also, when Greeks took over Troy, she tried to seek refuge in the temple of Athena, but was raped in there by Locrian Ajax, and was then taken up as a concubine by King Agamemnon, where they were killed by the Agamemnon's wife and her lover. In case it's not already obvious, the Greek gods and goddesses did not really mind jumping in bed with their family members. Uranus, the sky, was both the son and husband of Gaia, the earth, and had the 12 titans, of which Cronus and Rhea, who were brother and sister, married each other and were parents to Demeter, Hades, Hestia, Hera, Zeus, and Poseidon. Zeus and Hera, again siblings, married and had many children, and Zeus also fathered a daughter, Persephone, by his sister Demeter. And this was the twisted side of the Greek mythology. We intend to make it clear that whatever we mention in this video is solely based on the research done in our limited capacity, and is not intended to take a jab at or hurt anyone's feelings, sentiments, and religious beliefs. Now, if you enjoyed watching this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss out on our future uploads. Also, do mention in the comment section below how you feel about this one. We'll see you next time with another gem of a video. Until then, goodbye.